Hello and welcome to this short review of the Rocksolid Audio Micro 3 MIDI controller. This is a MIDI controller, as you should know already. If you're looking into this, you should know this is a controller that is oriented to audio plugins. And the main reason why I have both the Micro 4K and the Micro 3 on their website is just to show or just to remember that there's a little difference between both of them. And first, it is of course the layout of the SSL type of plugin, or the SSL 4K console. And the Micro 4K has a couple of more things than the Micro 3 has. So the Micro 4K has 2 more encoders, so it's a total of 20 encoders as opposed to 18 encoders that the Micro 3 has. And the Micro 4K, it also has 6 buttons in total, as opposed to the 5 buttons that the Micro 3 has. Also, if you see the layout of the Micro 3, then you have only one section for dynamics, and this layout shows you 4 different encoders and 3 buttons for dynamics, and that's all you have for when it comes to compression and expansion. And it is enough most of the times, but it is something also to keep in mind that these are MIDI controllers, so any encoder can be anything that you want it to be. Each encoder has 3 functions, so you can rotate the encoder, you can push the encoder so it is a bottom, and then you can push and twist the encoder so it has a 3rd function. So it is a lot more than what you just see. Now that said, let's go quickly into how easy it is to work with Rocksolid Audio's software. Rocksolid Audio provides you with a VST3 wrapper, so you can open not any of them, but most of the plugins that you have on VST3, and you can use them, and you can definitely manage them with this software. So you can, for example, have your favorites. You can insert your plugins. You can scan and clear the cache. Then you can, for example, map all of your plugins. And if in the case that Rocksolid Audio has a version of the plugin that you are using right now in their website, then you can download it. That's what they told me. But as far as I've been able to look, I haven't found yet not even one plugin already available to download the presets. So I have to create each one of them. The good thing is that if you have different computers, you can definitely export the presets and just bring the presets to your other computer, and they do work immediately. What doesn't work is when you use the mouse mode. In the case of the mouse mode, you're going to need to create the whole thing again. But it is not the case for the VST wrapper. I'm going to program this plugin very easily and very fast, and I intentionally brought this one, which has just a few knobs, so I can actually show it around. So assuming that you want to map your plugin into your controller, the first thing that you need to do is check that your mouse mode is turned off. It is disabled. This way you can actually get your Rocksolid Audio software to recognize the controller. So next I'm going to use the controller to map this plugin. I'm going to use these 2 buttons here in the controller. There's a nuance here that this cyclic selector is not going to function correctly, but I'm going to map it anyway. Then I'm going to go to create, and I can start clicking a button, then hitting here is going to work. Then I'm going to click this button and map it. Then I'm going to click the next one and map it, hopefully, but it's not going to work right now. It is in gray mode. So once it is like this, if it is available, I can map it. So for example, I'm going to touch here, then here, then I'm going to map these knobs in the encoders. So that's it, and I guess that this little one can put it here, and that's it. Once I stop, I can simply move my encoders, and with it the plugin. This is very interesting. This wrapper actually can host a lot of plugins, not VSTi or VST instruments. So I'm going to bring in one of my favorites, which is the alpha compressor, which is very complicated to map, and I did already. So the alpha compressor has a lot of parameters, and I was able to put everything in here, and this is one of the reasons I was mentioning before that I don't need an SSL layout for this. So for threshold, ratio, attack, release, then I have EQ on both sides, so I have EQ frequency, then EQ frequency, then sidechain gain, sidechain frequency, and the next one it's the same thing for both sides. Then here I have the mix for one side, the mix for the other side. I have this should be the gain for both sides, and if I press and rotate, I have the soft clip on one side, and on the other. Then I have all my buttons are functioning. In this case, this is the warm, this is the compression, not all of them need to be on, but and same thing for the compression. And I'm actually using these encoders to turn on or off some parameters where necessary, and these are the left side actually. So if I click the channel link, I can turn on or off the auto fast for ratio, for release and attack on the right side or the side. One last thing before I finish this review, I have to say that the controller really feels very nice. It is very small. It is heavy as well. I think you can put it into a bag. I'm not sure if I would put it into a backpack or not. Not sure about that yet. In any case, I need to say that this is the second controller I have. The first one came with this knob broken. Basically, the push function wasn't bringing back the encoder. And I also have to say that the Rocksolid audio guys, they responded immediately, and they sent this unit almost immediately. So within a week, in the Atlantic in between us, they still send me the new controller. So this one functions perfectly. It's the one you're looking at. I really like the fact that with this controller you can definitely control many plugins. So I can use plugins like Plugin Alliance or like the Universal Audio. So for example, and this is just one last example, if I'm using a different software, say I'm using RX. So if I'm using RX, for example, I'm going to use the mouse mode. So I enable the mouse mode and I can bring in a plugin. Let's say I can actually bring in one of the universal audios if I have any of those here. So I do. Okay, so I have my plugin here, and this is going to work very nicely. As you see, I can bring up the Rocksolid audio software, and I'm going just to, depending on the software that I'm using, I can create a different parameter. Sadly, these are not parameters that you can export, but in any case, let's see. And from this point on, I can use input, and I can touch here, and then I can use output. It's going to be this, and I can assign this to be linear, this linear, for example, and immediately, as long as I'm using the plugin, I can use it. So the limitations with the Rocksolid audio are minimum, and if you compare this to other brands like the SSL, and there's another one, the Softtube one, you can only use their software. You can only control their software. You can only control their plugins, and I know that there is the saying that they are indeed also MIDI controllers, but the software to control other stuff is not provided. So you need to figure out what to do with those controllers when you're not using SSL or Softtube plugins. So this is a good rounder in most terms. It has a lot of function possibilities, and when you match that, you have a very nice product, which is what we have here. So that's it for now. Let me know in the comments if you want me to check anything else. Let me know what you think. Let me know if you like it or not. Thank you so much for being here and for watching, and have a nice day.